Alright, buckle up because this is going to be a long one. I never thought I would be posting here, but man, the shit that went down in my life these past couple of months, I have got to get it off my chest. Maybe some of you can learn from my messed up situation. So my girl, now ex-girlfriend, and I had been together for almost 4 years. I am 28, male, she is 27, female. We met at this house party back in college through mutual friends. She was hot as fuck and actually seemed interested in my boring ass, so yeah, we hit it off right away. Things moved pretty quickly after graduation. We got jobs in the same city, dated for about 2 years, then moved in together. The relationship was solid. At least I thought so. We split rent 50-50, took turns cooking, though she would always complain about my cooking, laughing out loud. We talked about marriage and kids and all that future stuff most couples do. I work in sales, decent money, but lots of hours sometimes. She is in marketing at some corporate place downtown. Our schedules lined up most days, but sometimes I would have late client meetings or she would have these team happy hours that would run late. Nothing suspicious at the time. She has these 2 best friends from college she is always talking about and hanging out with. I will call them Kelly and Jess. Kelly is the married one. Been with this dude Brandon for like 3 years, I think. Jess is the perpetually single friend who has always got some dating disaster story. I had heard so much about these two over the years I felt like I knew them, but weirdly had never actually met them in person. My girl always kept her college friends' circle separate from our relationship, which I never questioned, because I am not the jealous, controlling type. About 3 months ago, my girl suggested we all go out to lunch, us, Kelly and Brandon, and Jess. I want my favorite people to know each other, she said with that smile that usually meant I was about to agree to something I did not really want to do. But whatever, I figured it was important to her, so I said, sure. We met up at this fancy brunch place downtown on a Saturday. First impressions, Kelly seemed nice enough but super quiet, barely said anything the whole time. Brandon was, well, a total douche if I am being honest. One of those guys who thinks he is God's gift to everyone, kept interrupting people, especially his wife, making everything about himself and checking out our waitress right in front of all of us. Total lack of respect. Jess was actually pretty cool, smart, sarcastic sense of humor, called Brandon out a couple of times, which was hilarious. But what really caught my attention was how Brandon and my girl interacted. Nothing overtly flirty, but there was this weird vibe. He would make these inside jokes that only she seemed to get. They would do this thing where they would finish each other's sentences. At one point, he put his hand on her shoulder when he got up to use the bathroom, and let it linger a bit too long. Small stuff that most people would not notice, but it just felt off. After we left, I casually asked my girl how she knew Brandon so well. Oh, he has just been around forever through Kelly, plus we have all hung out tons of times over the years, she said. It made sense, I guess, but something still felt weird. Over the next few weeks, I noticed my girl started talking about Kelly and Brandon a lot more, how they had such a perfect marriage, and how Brandon was so successful and so funny. I just nodded along, but I kept thinking about how Brandon acted at lunch, the way he treated Kelly like she was invisible half the time. No way that marriage was perfect. What is crazy is how quickly shit changed after that lunch. Suddenly, my girl was working late more often. The girls' nights with Kelly and Jess started happening twice a week instead of once a month, and sometimes Brandon would be there too, which made no sense for a girls' night. But apparently, Kelly does not like driving at night, or Brandon was already downtown for work, so he just joined. Whatever. She also got weird about her phone. We never hid our phones from each other, not because we snooped, but just because we had nothing to hide. Suddenly, she was taking her phone to the bathroom, turning it face down when I walked by, changed her password. All the classic flags, right? But I did not want to be that insecure boyfriend accusing her of shit without proof. I had been there before in past relationships, and it never ends well, so I just pushed down my suspicions and tried to act normal. Then one night, around midnight, my phone buzzed. It was a text from Jess, who I had only talked to one-on-one like twice ever. All it said was, "I think you should know something about," and then nothing. The text disappeared before I could even open it fully. She must have deleted it right away. I messaged her back like, "Hey, what is up? Did you mean to text me?" But she never responded. Weird as fuck. The next morning at breakfast, I casually mentioned to my girl that Jess had texted me. You should have seen her face. She literally froze mid-bite for a split second, then laughed it off, saying Jess probably texted me by accident. She was way too interested in exactly what Jess had said. I played dumb, but inside I was like, oh shit, something is definitely up. Over the next couple of weeks, more weird shit kept happening. My girl would leave the room to take calls. She would say she was meeting Kelly for coffee, but when I would casually ask how Kelly was doing later, she would get details wrong or seem confused for a moment before answering. Then Jess reached out again. This time, she actually called me while I was at work. She seemed super nervous and just said, "Hey, this is awkward, but maybe pay more attention to what is happening around you." I cannot say more than that. I am sorry. I was confused as hell. When I pressed her to explain, she just said she had already risked enough. "Just keep your eyes open. You seem like a good guy. You deserve better." I hung up feeling like I was stuck in some low-budget drama. I also know how girls can go after each other when things get messy between them. Maybe Jess was just stirring the pot, but something about the whole vibe felt off. So after that weird call from Jess, I started paying way more attention to everything. Not in a crazy stalker way, but just stopped ignoring the obvious shit that was right in front of my face. Looking back, I cannot believe how blind I was being. The signs were so damn obvious. First off, my girl's schedule suddenly got super unpredictable. She had been at the same job for like 3 years with pretty standard hours, but now she was constantly texting that she would be working late or had emergency client meetings that just happened to pop up last minute. Sometimes she would come home smelling different, not just like alcohol from happy hour, but like she had showered with different soap or something. Other times, her makeup would be touched up but slightly different than how she had done it that morning. Her phone became her most prized possession. This girl, who used to leave her phone just lying around anywhere, was suddenly taking it with her to the bathroom, keeping it face down, and I even caught her deleting text conversations a couple of times when I walked up behind her. The biggest red flag was how she started picking fights over nothing. She would blow up about me leaving dishes in the sink or not texting her enough during the day. Stupid shit that never bothered her before. She was trying to make me the bad guy to justify what she was doing. Classic cheater move, right? Make your partner out to be such an asshole that you deserve to cheat or some crap. Then I started keeping track of this stuff, not like writing it down in a journal like some psycho, but just mentally noting the patterns. And there was definitely a pattern. Most of her late nights were Thursdays, and she was always extra distant the day after. I also started paying more attention to what she said about Brandon and Kelly. She would drop Brandon into conversations for no reason. "Brandon says this restaurant has the best steak in the city." Or, "Brandon was telling me about this new workout routine." Why the hell was she having all these private conversations with her friend's husband? And meanwhile, she talked about Kelly less and less. About 2 weeks after Jess called me, I ran into her at the grocery store. Totally random. I was grabbing soda, and she was in the same aisle. She looked like she had seen a ghost when she spotted me. We did that awkward, "Hey, how is it going?" small talk, but then she pulled me aside by the freezer section. "Have you noticed anything?" she asked, looking around like we were in some spy movie. I just nodded, did not want to say too much in case she was just fishing for info. "Kelly has no idea," she said quietly. I tried to hint to her that something was off with Brandon, but she shut me down completely, called me jealous because I am single. We barely talk now. "Why are you telling me this?" I asked her. "Why not just tell me straight up what is going on?" Jess looked genuinely torn. "They are both my friends, and so is Kelly. I am stuck in the middle of this shit show, but you seem like a decent guy, and what they are doing is fucked up." She would not give me specifics, just said she had seen enough to know it is not innocent, and that it had been going on at least since before that lunch, maybe longer. Then some old lady wanted to get into the freezer we were standing in front of, so we moved, and the moment was gone. Jess just said, "Keep your eyes open," again, and took off. That night, when my girl got home late, of course, I almost confronted her, almost laid out all the evidence and suspicions. But some part of me knew I needed actual proof. Not just for her to deny it, but for myself, and honestly, for what I was planning to do afterward. So I played it cool for another week, pretended nothing was wrong, even suggested we have Brandon and Kelly over for dinner sometime, just to see her reaction. She got super flustered and made up some excuse about them being really busy with family stuff right now. Yeah, sure, I thought. I decided to set a trap. I told her I had a big client meeting the following Thursday that would probably run late. "Do not wait up for me, I might be midnight before I am home," I said. She tried to look disappointed, but I could practically see the wheels turning in her head, planning her Thursday night without me. That whole week was torture. Sleeping next to someone you are pretty sure is cheating on you, acting like everything is normal, making her coffee in the morning, kissing her goodbye, texting during the day about normal crap like what is for dinner or did I remember to pay the electric bill, all while knowing Thursday was coming. Thursday morning, I left for work like usual. Told her again about my late meeting, and she played the perfect supportive girlfriend. "Do not work too hard, babe, I will probably just have a quiet night in." Yeah, right. I went to work but told my boss I needed to leave early for a personal emergency. He is a good dude, did not ask questions, so by 3 post-meridian, I was in my car heading home, stopping to pick up her favorite sushi on the way. Not because I thought we would be having a nice dinner, but because I wanted the full fucking dramatic irony of the situation. As I parked outside our apartment, I saw a car I recognized, the same BMW Brandon had been driving at our lunch. It was parked 2 spots down from my usual space. I sat in my car staring at Brandon's BMW, holding a bag of expensive sushi that was getting warmer by the minute. For like 2 solid minutes, I just sat there, not even sure what to do. Part of me wanted to just drive away, pretend I never came home early, go crash at a buddy's place, and deal with this crap later. It would have been easier, right? But nah, I had spent weeks seeing the signs, ignoring my gut, making excuses for her behavior. I needed to see it with my own eyes, needed that closure or whatever. So I grabbed my phone, made sure it had enough storage since videos take up a lot of space, and walked up to our apartment. I used my key to get in as quietly as possible. As soon as I opened the door, I heard those sounds coming from our bedroom. You know exactly what I am talking about. For a second, I felt like I was going to puke right there in the entryway. I dropped the sushi bag on the counter and took a deep breath. Then I pulled out my phone, opened the camera app, and hit record. Call it instinct or whatever. But some part of my brain was already thinking ahead. I needed evidence, not just for me to know I was not crazy, but for what would come later. Walking down that hallway to our bedroom door felt like it took forever. Each step I was thinking, maybe I am wrong. Maybe it is just the television. Maybe it is not what I think. But deep down I knew, I fucking knew. I pushed the bedroom door open, still recording, and boom, there they were in our bed. The bed I had helped her pick out at IKEA. The bed I had spent 4 hours assembling while she sat there reading me the instructions. They did not even notice me at first. They were so caught up in their little world they did not hear the door open for a few seconds. I just stood there recording, wanted to make sure I got their faces clearly on video, wanted to capture the whole scene so there could be no denying it later. Finally, I cleared my throat, almost threw up, and holy shit, you should have seen them jump. The looks on their faces, first shock, then Brandon's panic, and my girlfriend's annoyance. Not guilt, not shame, not even embarrassment. She looked fucking annoyed, like I had interrupted her favorite television show or something. What happened next is kind of a blur. Brandon scrambled off her, grabbing for his clothes, mumbling some crap. My girl pulled the sheet up to cover herself but did not say anything at first, just glared at me like I was the one who had done something wrong by coming home to my own apartment. I kept recording the whole time, which seemed to piss her off even more. She started yelling at me to stop filming, to delete the video, that I had no right. I ignored her and asked how long it had been going on. She literally looked me dead in the eyes and hit me with the, "It was just once, get over it." She said I was always working late, so what did I expect? Like it was somehow my fault she decided to screw her best friend's husband in our bed. I told Brandon to get out, and to his credit, dude moved fast, grabbed his clothes, and was out of there in like 30 seconds flat, still buttoning his shirt as he pushed past me. I stepped aside to let him go. I was not about to get into a physical fight over this jerk. He was not worth an assault charge. Once Brandon was gone, my girl switched tactics. Suddenly, it was a mistake and it did not mean anything. And all that classic cheater bullshit. When I just stood there still recording, not saying much, she got defensive again, started bringing up minor issues from months ago, like how I forgot her mom's birthday, or how I sometimes leave dirty dishes in the sink, as if forgetting to wash a coffee mug is the same as letting another dude rail you in our bed. I finally stopped recording and just looked at her for a minute, waiting for her to realize how ridiculous she sounded. I asked her if Kelly knew. She did not answer, which was answer enough. And then she said something I will never forget with this smug little smirk on her face. She hit me with, "Well, maybe you should know he is better in bed anyway." That was it. Game over. In that moment, any tiny bit of love I still had for her died instantly. She did not just cheat, she wanted to hurt me, wanted to twist the knife. That is when I knew she was actually a terrible fucking person, and I had been blind to it for years. I did not yell, did not give her the reaction she was looking for, just nodded, turned around and walked out. I grabbed my laptop, wallet, and car keys on my way to the door. She followed me, suddenly, changing her tune, asking where I was going, telling me not to be so dramatic. I did not answer, just closed the door behind me and walked to my car, but I did not leave right away. I sat in my car, hands shaking a bit, and thought about what to do with that video. The old me would have just deleted it, tried to be the bigger person or whatever crap. That old me died when I opened that bedroom door, so I did the first nuclear thing. I pulled up the group chat my girl had with all her girlfriends, including Kelly and Jess. This was a chat she had shown me before, like 10 women who all went to college together. I found it in her social media, which she was still logged into on my phone. Genius move, right? And I sent the video to all of them with a simple message. Thought you all should know what kind of friend you have. Kelly, I'm especially sorry you had to find out this way. I knew they would eat up the drama and talk about it for the next 7 months. Then I blocked my girl's number, turned off notifications, and drove to my buddy Dave's place. I did not call ahead, just showed up at his door looking like death probably. Dave is a real one. He took one look at me, pulled me inside, and said, "Spill it." So I did. I told him everything. He did not interrupt, just let me get it all out, then offered me his couch for as long as I needed it. I spent that night staring at the ceiling, thinking about everything I gave over the last 4 years, all the trust, the support, the time I poured into the relationship. And every time I questioned something that felt off, she would twist it, make me feel paranoid or insecure, like I was the problem for not trusting her enough. All those girls' nights that, looking back, probably were not what she said they were. It is wild how the full picture only comes together when it is already too late. The next morning, I woke up with this weird sense of clarity, like I knew exactly what I needed to do, step by step. No emotion, no hesitation. Dave had already left for work, left a note saying, "Fridge is stocked, Wi-Fi password on the counter. Stay as long as you need, bro." I pulled out my phone for the first time since the night before. I had to turn it back on first, since I had powered it down. As soon as it booted up, the notifications started flooding in, but I did not read or listen to any of them. I had things to do. I called into work and asked for a personal day. My boss is pretty chill. When I said I was dealing with some heavy personal stuff, he did not even hesitate. "Take care of yourself, man. The office will still be here tomorrow." Then I called our landlord. This is where my ex-girlfriend messed up big time. From the start, the apartment was in my name only. When we moved in together 2 years ago, her credit was absolute garbage from some student loan mess she never handled properly, so I am the only one on the lease. I am the only one responsible for rent, and I am the only one with any actual rights to the place. I explained the situation to the landlord, not all the messy details, just that my girlfriend and I had broken up and I would be moving out. He was actually pretty cool about it. "These things happen, son," he said, sounding like he had been through a few divorces himself. "Let me know what you want to do with the lease. Here is where it gets good." I did not just call to chat. I gave notice to terminate the lease early. Our agreement had a clause about breaking the lease for a fee equal to 1 month's rent. I paid it right then over the phone with my credit card. The landlord said he would send over the paperwork and that we would have 30 days to vacate. But I made sure he understood that while my name was on the lease, my ex-girlfriend would be the one trying to stay. He said he would leave a formal notice on the door that day, so there would be no confusion about the timeline. She would have 30 days to either sign a new lease in her own name or get the hell out. After that, I called all the utility companies, electric, water, internet, everything. All in my name, all being paid from my bank account automatically each month. And I did not just pause service or transfer it to her name. Nope. I closed every single account completely. Service would stop that day for all of them by noon. I went to the bank. We did not have joint accounts, thank God. But she was an authorized user on my credit card, for emergencies or whatever. I called the card company right there in the bank parking lot and had her removed. The customer service guy asked if I wanted to report the card stolen, so they would issue me a new number. Not necessary, I told him. I just need her cut off immediately. While I was feeling productive, I went through my phone and took screenshots of everything, all the texts from Jess trying to warn me, all the obvious lies from my ex-girlfriend over the past few months, and of course, screenshots from the video I took. I emailed them all to myself as backup and put them in a special folder on my phone. Evidence secured. I spent the rest of the afternoon at a coffee shop, still ignoring the flood of calls and texts from my ex-girlfriend. She had gone from angry, "How dare you film us?" to panicked, "Please call me back, we need to talk," to begging, "I am so sorry, it was a mistake, please come home." I did not respond to any of it. Around 4 o'clock post-meridian, I got a text from Kelly of all people. "Can we meet? I need to talk to you." I agreed and suggested a bar near Dave's place. She was already there when I arrived, looking like absolute hell. Eyes red and puffy, hair pulled back in a messy ponytail, wearing sweats and a hoodie like she just grabbed whatever was closest. We got a table in the back corner. For a minute, she just stared at her drink, not saying anything. Finally, she looked up and said, "Thank you for sending that video. I know it must have been hard." Turns out she had suspected something was going on with Brandon for months, but had no proof. She had noticed the late nights, the protective phone behavior, all the same signs I had seen with my ex-girlfriend. But every time she brought it up, Brandon would make her feel crazy and paranoid. Classic gaslighting tactics. Jess tried to tell me too. Kelly admitted she saw them together at a restaurant across town about a month ago. I accused her of making it up because she is jealous of my marriage. God, I was so stupid. I showed Kelly the texts from Jess trying to warn me. Kelly looked like she might start crying again. She really tried to tell both of us, and we both shut her down. Before I left, Kelly and I made a plan. She was done being the doormat wife, and I was done being the clueless boyfriend. We exchanged numbers and promised to keep each other updated on what was happening on both fronts. That evening, around 6 o'clock post-meridian, I drove back to the apartment, knowing my ex-girlfriend would be at her Thursday yoga class. It was the one consistent thing in her schedule. I gave myself 30 minutes to pack my essential stuff and get out. It felt weird being back there so soon after catching them. The bed was made, of course, she had cleaned up, but I could not even look at the bedroom. I just grabbed a suitcase and threw in clothes, toiletries, important documents, my gaming console, and a few sentimental items I did not want her to destroy when she inevitably lost her mind. I was out in 25 minutes flat. I left my key on the counter with a note: "Lease ends in 30 days. Utilities disconnected. Get over it and do not contact me." I was just pulling away when I saw her car turning into the lot. For a second, our eyes met through the windshields. The look on her face, confusion quickly turning to panic, almost made me stop, but I just drove off. Next morning, I woke up to 43 emails from her, going from anger to panic to straight-up begging. Apparently, she tried to shower but found the water shut off, tried to watch Netflix but the internet was gone, tried to order food but her card was declined since it was actually my credit card she had been using this whole time. While all this was going down, Kelly was executing her own plan. She contacted human resources at the company where Brandon and my ex-girlfriend both worked. Yeah, they worked together too. Shocked, and she never told me about that. Turns out, the company has a strict policy about workplace relationships, especially between supervisors and subordinates, which was exactly what Brandon and my ex-girlfriend were. Kelly showed human resources the video with intimate parts blurred and provided evidence of them using company time and resources for their affair. They had been booking conference rooms for their little sessions and using company events as cover to meet up. Both Brandon and my ex-girlfriend were put on administrative leave pending investigation. Kelly also filed for divorce, naming my ex-girlfriend specifically in the filing. Dave has been awesome through all this. When I told him my plan to nuke my ex-girlfriend's entire life, he just nodded and said, "Remind me never to piss you off, bro." He even helped me start apartment hunting online, sending me listings during his lunch break at work. About a week after everything, things were getting back to normal until my ex-girlfriend blew up my phone again with angry texts. Apparently, she found the notice. She completely lost her mind, stormed down to the leasing office in tears, only to discover that not only was the lease definitely ending in 30 days, but her credit score and income were not enough to qualify for the apartment on her own. They need someone making like 3 times the monthly rent, and she is not even close. Apparently, Kelly ran into my ex-girlfriend at the leasing office. Yeah, I heard about it the same day. Turns out, the drama traveled fast. Kelly was not there to play nice. She walked straight up to her and asked, "How long have you been screwing my husband?" And my ex-girlfriend tried that classic cheater move, acting confused like she did not know what Kelly was talking about, telling her it is just a misunderstanding, like she did not know about that video being forwarded around the globe, like women do not have a sixth sense for lying and betrayal. Please, you would think after all those secret hookups, she would at least prep a better defense. But nah, she stammered, mumbled something about how it just happened, and Kelly shut that down real quick. "Oh, so my fault, right? For trusting you, for trusting him? Classic. You are not sorry you did it, you are just sorry you got caught." That is the thing with my ex-girlfriend. When she is red-handed, they flip the script, try to gaslight, cry, blame everyone but herself. Anyway, Kelly ended it like a boss, tossed the lease termination notice at her and said, "Good luck figuring it out," and walked out. I found out about it later when Kelly shot me a text saying it was the most satisfying 5 minutes of her life. I bet it was. Meanwhile, my ex-girlfriend was probably still standing there stunned, wondering why the universe was not bending over to fix her mess. The utility situation is even better. She thought I had just temporarily disconnected everything out of spite or whatever. Nope, I closed all the accounts completely. To get services back, She would need to open brand new accounts in her name, pay all the deposits and setup fees, and wait for installation appointments. Based on her desperate texts, she does not have the cash for all those deposits right now. I know all this crap because 3 days into my radio silence, my ex-girlfriend showed up at my damn office, just walked right in and asked for me at reception. My receptionist immediately texted me a heads up before sending anyone back. I told her to say I was in a meeting and could not be disturbed. My ex-girlfriend was not having it, said it was an emergency and she would wait. After 20 minutes of her sitting in our lobby, getting more and more agitated, our office manager had to ask her to leave. She refused, started raising her voice, saying she just needed 5 minutes with me. That is when security got called. As they were escorting her out, she completely lost it, started screaming about how I had ruined her life over one mistake, and that I was a vindictive jerk for telling Kelly about the affair. One of my coworkers recorded the whole meltdown on his phone and showed me later. It was both satisfying and embarrassing as hell to watch. Of course, the video circled around for days. Yesterday, all hell broke loose. My ex-girlfriend called me 19 times in 2 hours. When I finally answered, mostly to make the phone stop buzzing, she was completely hysterical. Brandon is being transferred to the Austin office. They were going to promote me to his position, but now Human Resources is investigating both of us. I could lose my job. Are you happy now? Is this what you wanted? I did not want any of this, I replied. You made your choices. She broke down then, crying about how sorry she was, how she would do anything to take it back. I cannot afford the apartment on my own, she sobbed. My parents will not help me. I have nowhere to go. That sounds like a huge problem, I said and hung up. This morning, I got an email with the subject line, what I am going to do. It was just a list of demands. 1, I need to move back in and pay the rent while she finds a new place. 2, I need to turn utilities back on. 3, I need to give her access to her credit card again. 4, I need to tell Kelly it was all a misunderstanding. 5, I need to talk to her boss and explain she made a mistake. The audacity of her. After everything she did, she still thought I owed her that I should help clean up the mess she created. Not a chance. I did not respond, and I have not for 2 months now. Honestly, I do not plan to. A lot has changed since then, and for the most part, it has been for the better. I landed that promotion at work I had been grinding for. The new apartment is starting to feel like home too. I set up a little home office in the corner of the living room, and for once, I am cooking real meals instead of just surviving on takeout. It feels good, simple but good. Ever since my ex-girlfriend sent that pathetic list of demands, it has been radio silence. 3 weeks of nothing. It has been peaceful, and I started to focus on my life and move on. Then one day, an email popped up. Subject line, closure, cute. I almost deleted it without reading, but figured I would skim it for entertainment. It was not an apology or her attempt at one. Some weak confession about realizing the damage she had done. Good for her, I guess, but it did not matter, not to me. I did not reply. She does not even deserve closure. Let her sit with that. I have heard bits and pieces from mutual friends. Apparently she is still crashing at her sister's place, scrambling for some job in another city. The married guy tried crawling back to Kelly, but she slammed that door shut and went through with the divorce. Me, I have been dating, keeping it casual, nothing serious. A few first dates, most were forgettable. But last weekend, I met up with Jess. Yeah, that Jess, the one who tried to warn me. It was not even supposed to be a date, just drinks to catch up. We ended up talking for hours. She apologized again for not being more direct back then. I told her it was whatever, she was in a tough spot, stuck between people, did not know how to handle it. One drink turned into dinner, which turned into walking around downtown until midnight, just talking about life and how much better it is when you cut toxic people out. And yeah, there is definitely something there. She is sharp, funny, real, no games, no drama, just straight up honesty. It is easy, it is solid. We are taking it slow, but it feels right. But because karma has a sick sense of humor, it did not end there. Turns out my ex-girlfriend found out that Jess and I had been seeing each other. How? Who knows? Maybe one of her spy minions? Maybe she just connected the dots. Either way, she lost her damn mind, started blowing up Jess's phone, sending her these pathetic, bitter texts like, "You are a backstabbing bitch, and he will leave you too once he is bored." Real original, right? She even took it a step further, showing up at Jess's gym, trying to corner her in the parking lot like some low-budget villain. Jess shut it down fast, told her if she did not back off, I helped her in getting a restraining order gift-wrapped with her name on it. That must have stung, because my ex-girlfriend has been quiet ever since. Funny how the tough act crumbles when someone is not scared of her drama. I guess Jess was the one friend she should not have underestimated. To everyone who stuck around for this chaos, I appreciate it. Your comments were a reminder that walking away was not just the right call, it was the only call. Life moves on, and mine is looking better every damn day. And for those asking, yeah, things with Jess are getting serious, and it feels good. No second guessing, no looking back. And to anyone thinking I was too harsh, nah, sometimes you have to go nuclear. Her face when she realized I was not coming to save her, priceless. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.